Another vault dweller.
Oh, finally, someone to talk to!
So what happened at your vault?
Oh, it was horrible. We only had magic cards.
Did you eat each other?
You know, now that you say it, that probably would have been better. But, no, we figured something else out. What's up, Planeswalkers? How you doing? How you doing? Today, we're taking a break from spooky season. Why? Because Fallout crossover cards are here, and I'm a big fan, so I'm not missing this opportunity to cover some new commanders. But if you know anything about the Caesar's Legion, it might as well still be spooky season. So Caesar, Legion's Emperor, is a Mardu and one colorless 4/4 human soldier that whenever we attack, we may sacrifice another creature we control to do two of the following. Create two 1/1 red and white soldier creature tokens with haste that are tapped and attacking, draw a card and lose a life. And lastly, Caesar, Legion's Emperor, deals damage equal to the number of creature tokens we control to target opponent. So what's the plan? True to form to the Legion, we will build a numbers advantage and will sacrifice as many tokens as we can to drain the table. Because Mardu is the ultimate aristocrat colors, we got drain, we have token makers, and we have sacrifice. Now with that overabundance, it also means that we have a lot of choices to make, so I've made a pretty safe deck list that is easily modifiable to your needs. So feel free, of course, to change it around however you like. Spoilers aren't finished for the crossover, so there may be more cards that you want to add. Our first creature is Doom Traveler. It's an ideal creature to sacrifice as we get another body out of the deal. Viscera Seer is a sacrifice outlet that lets us scry. Remember, it's important that we do have a way to sacrifice our creatures at any time to get around exile effect. Blood Artist is our first aristocrat, meaning it drains an opponent for life whenever a creature we control dies. Blood Artist is one of our weaker aristocrats because again, it's a targeted ability. Next, Cruel Celebrant is another aristocrat. This time it will drain each opponent. Dockside Extortionist will make us a lot of treasures based on the number of enchantments and artifacts our opponents control. This card is good for our deck for two reasons. It makes tokens for Mirkwood Bats and Revel in Riches, plus it ramps us and provides a cheap body to sacrifice. Elias Ilkor, Sadistic Pilgrim, is a good blocker for us. It gains us life whenever creatures ETB, and it drains when we lose them. Really, this card is probably one of our better aristocrats. Priest of Forgotten Gods is back to terrorize our opponents as this card gives our deck an edict on a body with bonus, of course, and our commander with one trigger gives us the two bodies necessary for its activation. Reassembling Skeleton, the unsung hero of this deck. This card is perfect for our commander as we can sacrifice this baby till the end of time for 2 mana. That said, just make sure you actually have a way to sacrifice it when you play it because people catch on really fast and tend to exile this card. Zulaport Cutthroat is just another aristocrat. One difference is that we can trigger off itself, and the reason for such redundancy with these aristocrats is that they are interchangeable pieces for a combo. Judith the Scourge Diva brings the pain as our creatures get +1 to their power, and whenever a non-token creature dies, it pings any target for 1 damage. Logamos Hand of Hatred makes us a body that we could sacrifice to our commander for more permanent tokens, plus if we ever have 5 creatures die in a turn, we can tutor our library. That last ability is actually very achievable for this deck, so there's a lot of different combo pieces to find, and you'll want to familiarize yourself with them eventually. Mahidi Emporium Master is going to make treasures when stuff dies, and we play Revel in Riches, so it's kind of a no-brainer, and treasures are just ideal anyways because we can play a bunch of cards with them. Mayhem Devil is an absolute beast in this deck because, well, we sacrifice a lot of creatures, and we make a lot of treasure, so turning our treasures into more damage and our opponent's fetch lands become twice as bad sounds pretty good to me. Ophiomancer makes a snake token unless we already control a snake token, and yep, you guessed it. If everything goes right, we'll be sacrificing this snake token each turn to make sure that we make a new one, and we get a drain or treasure with our other cards. Pawn of Ulamog will make a mana creature whenever a non-token creature dies. Basically, it's here to give us that extra body, and it's part of a combo. Squee the Immortal is here to be abused for sacrifice and pretty much nothing else. Sorry, Squee. But this card is great because we can cast it no matter where it is, unless it gets Chaos Warped. Strider is a sack outlet and a token maker with the oh-so-important ability to escape, meaning we can get this puppy out of our graveyard even after it's been killed. Elenda the Duskroad is a nasty thing. Whenever a creature dies, it gets a +1 counter, and when it itself dies, we get 1/1 vampire tokens equal to its power. So after a few turns, this card should be ripe for our commander's ability to net us an army of tokens that hopefully can be sacrificed to end the game. Luminous Broodmoth is here to combo, but if it's not comboing, then it's giving all our creatures double duty, which on its own is enough to warrant a spot in this deck. So basically, non-flying creatures, aka everything but itself and Mirkwood Bats, returned after death with a flying counter. Mirkwood Bats makes our token factories deadly and our aristocrats deadlier. We drain whenever we make or kill our tokens, including treasures. We have Mondrag Glory Dominus to do one thing, and that one thing is double the number of tokens we make. Murderous Redcap may look a little strange in this deck, but it's part of a combo, and trust me, it's aristocrat themed, so it's perfect, and plus in a pinch you can get 2 sacrifice triggers out of it. Pitiless Plunderer is another combo piece, but making treasures whenever a creature dies is just good on its own. Teysa Karlov will boost our aristocrats to squeeze out more life when we are draining the table. Also, what's better than 1 Doomed Traveler Spirit token? 2 Doomed Traveler Spirit tokens. Drivnod Carnage Dominus, which is another Teysa Karlov, but consistency will help you win the game. Plus, if you're looking for cards to cut, I'd probably start here. Sir Conrad the Grim makes mill opponents think twice, plus more redundancy for our aristocrat theme. He drains the table whenever a creature is milled or dies. To finish things off, we have the lad himself, Sun Titan, as most of our deck is in the 3 mana range, and bringing stuff back just to lose it again is kind of the whole idea of the deck. Our spells are really removal heavy, but when you're playing Orzhov, it's hard to ignore the awesome removal you get. First, we have Path to Exile and Swords to Plowshare to exile problem creatures, then Despark to hit those expensive problems Timmy's play from time to time. Diabolic Intent, since we plan to make an expendable army, we can use this to find a combo piece. Anguished Unmaking is more exile removal for non-land permanents. Savine's Reclamation to return any permanent we want back as long as it's 3 mana. This will probably be a Dockside or Fallen Aristocrats. Fats is a sweet removal spell as it lets us choose creatures with the same toughness and destroy them, plus it splits second. Ink Shield, which at first glance looks pretty bad, but as someone who's lost this card, I can see its appeal, especially in big token decks like this one. We can fog an incoming attack and make a massive amount of creatures that we can swing with as soon as next turn. Now for the last spell, we have Farewell, because even though your deck loses to it hardcore, you can still play it because the card's just that good. Anyways, just pick what you don't like and delete it. Pretty simple. The reason why we are so removal heavy is because it kind of covers a weak spot of our deck. We can handle a few Dreadmaws, but a creature that wins simply by being on the board is a problem for us. Starting off our artifacts and enchantments, we have the ramp. That's going to include Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, and Fel Warstone. Then Boros Signet, Orzhov Signet, and Rakdos Signet. Talisman of Conviction, Talisman of Hierarchy, and Talisman of Indulgence. But wait, there's more. Ashnod's Altar and Phyrexian Altar are combo pieces and sack outlets that can ramp us. Lastly, Oketra's Monument is technically ramp as it discounts our white creatures, but really we're playing this card because it makes 1/1 white creature tokens whenever we play creatures. For card draw, we have Skull Clamp for the small tokens we make off our commander or otherwise. For token makers, we have Bitter Blossom, which is pretty cheap right now, so it's a good time to pick it up. It'll give us flying bodies that we can swing with and then sacrifice. Dread Horde Invasion, which makes a token, then keeps growing that token, but in this deck, the amassed token should never get to 6 power, as we should be sacrificing it before then. Skrelv's Hive makes Phyrexian Mites, but at least in this case, they can eventually get lifelink for that added life total padding. Outlaw's Merriment makes different sized tokens, but you'll find that they're all the same when we sacrifice them. Assemble Legion, which should be getting its own Fallout card because it's a massive flavor fail if they don't, but anyways, it will make escalating 1/1 haste tokens for us each turn. It should go without saying, we are making a bunch of tokens for our commander's drain ability, and also we actively want to make a bunch of bodies so that we can drain our table with our aristocrats. For everything else, we have Blind Obedience to extort if we have the extra mana, but the big idea with this card is tap down blockers so we can effectively swing in with our little creatures. The fact that treasures enter tapped is just a cherry on top. Goblin Bombardment is a sacrifice outlet that also lets us throw damage at problems, whether that's someone's face, creature, or planeswalker, it's up to you. Impact Tremors works really well with commanders that makes tokens as we ping the table down really fast. And remember Ink Shield from earlier? Oh yeah, that card can be pretty ridiculous with Impact Tremors out. The Meat Hook Massacre is a board wipe when we need it to be, and a non-creature aristocrat any other time. Bastion Remembrance is another non-creature aristocrat, but this time we get a body that we can sack for the trouble. Anointed Procession is here to double our tokens so that we can do more of our thing, which is exploiting creatures. Smothering Tithe because we love treasures to ramp us or sacrifice for Mayhem Devil, but we also have Revel in Riches for the non-combat win. Dictate of Erebos is a sneaky problem we can throw down on our opponents to keep the board clear, as we should be able to sacrifice a lot of our creatures and keep them coming. Finally, we have Revel in Riches, a fun card to try and win with, but with this many ways to make treasures, your opponents might not think so. Anyways, this card is here again to make sure that we have a way to win outside of the normal means involving life totals. For the Manabase, follow your heart, but if you just want to copy one, I have a Manabase in the deck list found in the description of this video. My land pick for this deck is Westvale Abbey. It's cheap, and sacrificing 5 lads for a big indestructible dude seems like something our deck wouldn't mind. For the combo section, I'll be showing off one of the combos, but of course there's more to find, and post them in the comments if you want to help out others. Now for the combo I'm showing off, we have Luminous Broodmop, Murderous Redcap, and Viscera Seer. We'll need all these permanents on the battlefield, and then we'll start by sacrificing Murderous Redcap to Viscera Seer to scry 1. Then we'll return Murderous Redcap to the battlefield with the Persist trigger, giving it a -1/-1 counter. Then we'll sacrifice it again to Viscera Seer to scry 1, and then return it, this time using the Luminous Broodmoth trigger, giving it a flying counter. And then we'll repeat this process to drain out the table for the win. That's going to do it for today's video, and I do hope you enjoyed the deck list. Let me know how I did, or tell me about what card you're most excited for in the Fallout crossover in the comments below. Also, memberships are a thing now, so yeah, do what you will. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.